You ever heard the myth of Icarus? You know, the guy who flew too close to the sun and got burned to a crisp? Well, that's what you get for ignoring your dad's advice, I guess. But there's more to the story than just that. The myth of Icarus comes to us from ancient Greece. There was this guy named Daedalus who was an inventor and an engineer. And he built these wings, you know, like a pair of bird wings, and he attached them to himself and to his son Icarus so they could fly away from the island that they were stuck on. But before they took off, Daedalus warned his son not to fly too close to the sun, or else the wax holding the feathers together would melt, and then they'd both fall to their deaths. But Icarus, being a teenager, didn't listen. You know, teenagers. They never listen, and he started flying higher and higher until the sun's rays hit his wings and melted them. Then Icarus fell into the sea and drowned. Now, obviously, this is a really sad story, but it also has a deeper meaning. See, in those days, the Greeks believed that the sun god Helios drove his chariot across the sky every day. And if you wanted to fly, you had to be careful not to get too close to Helios because then he might think you're a threat and try to kill you. The same went for flying too close to the moon or the stars or any other heavenly body that the Greeks believed was a god. So the myth of Icarus is really a cautionary tale about the dangers of hubris. You know, like when you think you're better than the gods and you try to defy them. It's also a story about the importance of listening to your elders, you know, like your parents and teachers. If Icarus had just listened to his dad, he wouldn't have flown too close to the sun, and he wouldn't have died. But maybe the Greeks were just a little too obsessed with the sun. I mean, they had a whole god for it. I guess that's why we have sunblock now. You know, back in the day, they didn't have sunblock. They just had myths. Anyway, the myth of Icarus has been around for centuries, and it's been interpreted in lots of different ways. Some people see it as a metaphor for the dangers of unchecked ambition. Others see it as a symbol of the human condition, you know, like our tendency to strive for things that are just beyond our reach. But I think it's just a story about a kid who did not listen to his dad and ended up burning to death. You know, classic teen tragedy. Okay, thanks. Bye.